Let's talk about how to get back in the gym after a long layoff. I do have some personal experience with this, which I can share with you so you know what to do, when to do, and I'll give you some practical applications. So that way, when you go back to the gym, you don't end up beating yourself up so bad you end up with another long layoff. And because, the whole consistency thing that everyone talks about is the real key to getting results. So we want to make sure that we can make it consistent. So after this long layoff, you actually stick with it. So I want to talk about a little bit of a time. I want to talk about a time where I ended up having to take about 4 months off the gym. And it wasn't a very good time. And what happened is I was trying really, really hard to bench 275 pounds. Really hard, like stupidly hard, to the point where I wasn't using my brain anymore because it was so focused on getting that 275 bench that I kind of, took logic and reasoning and all the fitness knowledge I'd gained over the years and threw it out the window to simply try as hard as I can to hit that 275. And just for a little bit of context, the 2 weeks before, because I tried it for 2 weeks, 2 times per week in a row, I hit 265 for a pause bench. This was years back when I was considerably heavier than I am now, but I hit 265. It went up pretty good. So I'm like, next logical jump, 270 doesn't really count. It's not a real number. Tried to hit 275 pounds on the bench press. And after the 4th attempt in 2 weeks, my shoulder just gave out, just stopped working. So I had to take a little bit of time off because I couldn't do barbell squats. I couldn't really do machines because of the way my shoulder was feeling. Forget lifting, putting a t-shirt on was pain. Walking with my arm hanging was pain. Everything was pain. So lifting was just not a good idea. So I ended up taking the time off to rest. I still was walking to, get blood flow in the body and hopefully promote some level of healing. And after time, after about 4 months and a little bit of rotator cuff exercises gently, I was able to recover from it, which I'm very, very, very grateful for, because there are a lot of times where stuff like that, being stupid in the gym, ends up leading to the point where you need to get some kind of surgery. And fortunately for me, in that case, it was not the case. So after all this time I took off from the gym, I wanted to get back to it, but I did not go back to where I was. I did not just try to slap 225 on the bar and do some warm-up sets and then try to hit 265 again. That would have been stupid, and I wanted to stop being stupid. So I started to be a little bit smarter. Instead of even benching at all, I just, like with a barbell, I just grabbed the really light dumbbells and decided to see how that felt. I decided to see how shoulder press felt. Both of those seemed to be okay with really, really light dumbbells. I decided to see how rows felt. Did not feel good at all. So I was really, really easy on that and just try to keep motion in the muscles. Pull-ups, out of the question. Pull-downs, incredibly light. For some reason, were okay when rows were not. I can't explain that one, but that was the case. And pretty much every other exercise just had to go incredibly light on in order to just get that motion back in. Now, maybe you're not going through some kind of injury recovery. Maybe it's just because, life got in the way and you just haven't been able to make it to the gym, or decided not to, or decided other things are more important, or you just didn't go for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. What you want to do is you don't want to go ahead full on into a very intense workout 6 days a week. What you want to do is ease yourself back into it, because almost no matter what you're going to do, you're going to get a little bit sore if you put any level of effort into it. And that's okay. Soreness is okay, but eventually, if you've known from before, that soreness goes away if you're pretty consistent with your workouts. So what we're going to do is just maybe start with 3 days a week. Just kind of get the motions in. Maybe just hit the machines. Just do some chest press, some shoulder press, some rows, some pull downs, some kind of squat and some kind of deadlift, and just call it a week. Just get the motion back in. Of course, you can't forget bicep curls, and why not throw some lateral raises in there, and maybe some triceps, and maybe some leg extensions. But it doesn't really matter so much the specific exercises that you do. What matters is going in easy. Even if you want to go back to 5-6 days a week, just go in easy. No failure reps, no doing 10 sets, just a few sets of each exercise, really nice and easy. Just really focus on the technique, kind of moderate paced reps, just really, really simple and easy. And the whole point of these first 1 or maybe even 2 weeks is to just get back into not only the motions of the exercise, but also the habit of training, making sure that it's a sustainable program that you can do not just now when you're incredibly focused because you want to get back into it and you have the desire to get in shape, but also when things get a little bit tough or things get busy or the schedule gets chaotic or you have more appointments or anything else that comes up, a workout program that can be adaptable to those types of situations as well. For example, like me, like I've had different jobs that have me go to different places and I have to get up earlier or I have to stay out later and my schedule gets a little chaotic, or like my daughters have appointments that they didn't always have to go to, like or my wife has things that she needs to do, or our animals kind of eat grass out, or a dog eats grass outside and gets sick for a week. It kind of happens, but things that need to be taken care of that do take high priority, maybe more than fitness, the fitness program has to be able to work around that. So if you're on a regimented, strict, I have to work out 6 days a week, well, if you can schedule that in, awesome. Go ahead and do that. But again, ease into it. But if you don't know what your week looks like each and every week because so many things just pop up seemingly out of nowhere and it's not just because of planning or lack thereof, then maybe a 3-day-a-week program would be better. Some people do really well on a 2-day-a-week program. 1, maybe not enough. But 2, 3 days is good, 4 days is good, 5 days, 6 days. It's whatever you can fit into your schedule. So make sure that it's something that's adaptable to your schedule, sustainable with your schedule, and be honest about it. Like you don't have to work out 6 days a week in order to get results. Again, plenty of people work with 2, plenty of people work out with 3. And it just really is about fitting into your schedule. And I know I've like nattered on about that for moments in this video now, but it is just that important. Because again, going back to the consistency thing, breeding results, that is how you be consistent, is finding something that actually works in your schedule, which is generally why I just go for, hey, just train 3 days a week. If you're trying to be a bodybuilder or a power lifter or a strongman, maybe don't take my advice. But if you want to be generally healthier, stronger, look better, feel better, have more energy, then 3 days a week is amazing for that because it also promotes a good level of recovery in between workouts. So that's how I view on that. And that's how you kind of just get back into it. You don't go full swing. You just go easy into it. And if your goal is to lose weight and look better, you don't really have to focus so much on training. There are a lot of training principles that you can apply into very few days per week. You want to focus more on the diet anyway, managing your calories, managing your protein, and everything else, you can kind of do whatever you want with it. But if you do those 2 things, that's really what's going to drive the physical results that you see in the mirror. I was actually talking on X yesterday with another trainer or coach, fitness coach, who's excellent, amazing at what he does. And he was talking about how a lot of people want to get like a more defined like chest or more like sharp looking muscles, but they're at like 30% body fat. And it's just not going to happen that way. So I came up with this genius reply, which only makes sense in that context, because without it, it kind of sounds weird. But I said, train to grow, eat to show. So you train to grow the muscle and get stronger, and then you eat in a way that promotes leanness and like losing body fat to show the muscles that you've built through training. So if you can mentally separate the 2 things like that, it makes the whole fitness process so much easier to understand. And this does play into getting back into it, because a lot of times you also want to, take care of that diet, because if training went out the window, more often than not, diet has not been a focus. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to focus on diet and skip training. It's like everything kind of goes together. So with those 2 things, that's what I'm going to leave it at. Hopefully you found this helpful. Hopefully you found this insightful. Questions, comments, anything else, let me know in the description. Also check the link in the description if you want more focused help on getting in shape, and check out more of my videos on the channel, and I will catch you next time.